Council meeting of Monday, January the 13th, 2025. Please be advised, a copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted at the back of the chambers by the northwest door. Let us all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a short moment of silent meditation, and remain standing if you are able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The order of business of the City Council is as follows. The clerk will read the items listed on the agenda, and under public hearing, anyone wishing to speak on an item must first register and sign in at the table located in the lobby. The council shall require any member of the public addressing the council to identify themselves, the name of an organization represented by such a person, and their address, unless the address requirement has been waived to protect the security of the individual. Each speaker should state whether they are speaking in favor or in opposition to the item, and testimony is limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Anyone wishing to speak on the item should come forward after the clerk reads the item and the applicant has presented. After public comments, the applicant may make one short rebuttal. After all public hearings, the council will vote on resolutions and items listed under third reading. On the second and last Mondays of the month, immediately prior to adjournment, anyone may speak on an issue not on the agenda for that day nor planned for a future agenda. And we ask that all speakers strive for civility and allow the business of council to proceed unimpeded. Will the clerk please call the first item of business?
Up first, we have our Mayor's Award of Excellence.
Yay. Welcome. Good afternoon, Mayor.
Thank you for having me back, Madam Chair, members of the council. I'm really pleased to be standing before you today to present the Mayor's Award of Excellence for September of 2024 to two technology support specialists at the Lincoln Police Department, Tom Savela and Sam Salem. Tom and Sam were nominated by LPD Data Processing System Supervisor Chad Dalton in the categories of productivity, loss prevention, customer relations, and valor for their exceptional commitment to keeping our city's essential systems running smoothly. Their work began last July during a worldwide IT outage that impacted millions of computers, including those used by the City of Lincoln and Lancaster County. Confronted with the potential of widespread local outages and impacts, Tom quickly arrived at our Emergency Communications 911 Center, where he diligently collaborated with the ECC staff to diagnose and address the issue. Tom's swift action led to the resolution of these issues affecting the ECC in under an hour. As Dalton noted in his nomination letter, the feat cannot be understated given, quote, the critical nature of these systems, unquote. Throughout a very long day, Tom and Sam maintained contact and worked as a team to ensure our essential communication and operational capabilities. In his nomination letter, Dalton described the duo's contributions in this way. Quote, the dedication displayed by Tom and Sam, working continuously until the resolution of the crisis, is a testament to their commitment to public safety and the well-being of Lincoln's residents. I hope you'll please join me in congratulating Tom and Sam for their dedicated, decisive, brave, and quick-thinking work on behalf of our community. And with that, I'd like to invite up Chief Morrow to say a few words.
Good afternoon, Michonne Morrow, Chief at the Lincoln Police Department. So excited to be here in front of you again today. It always gives me great pleasure to be able to celebrate the amazing work done by all of the staff at the Lincoln Police Department. But in particular, it always brings me a lot of pride to be able to open the door to some of those staff members that you don't get to see day in and day out. They're not in uniforms, they're not in the cruisers responding to calls, but we still couldn't function without them. And so it's such a great opportunity to have them here. I know they're standing right behind me, so I have to. Tom and Sam are incredible. And what I want to share with you about this incident that happened on July 19th, it was a Thursday. So both of them had actually already worked their shift. And a little side note, Tom also works at Pinewood Bowl, and there was a concert that night. So when he ended his shift, working all day, he actually went out and was at the concert, got home about 11:30-ish that night, and we rang up his phone about quarter till midnight. And without hesitation, and that's really what I want to impart on all of you today, is without hesitation, he jumped in his car and headed down to the communication center to start working. And Sam as well, when he got that call. While he didn't work the concert, he still did work his shift. Both of them were really holding down the department in the IT area because Chad Dalton, the manager, was actually out, as well as Riley Hamilton and Tammy Floral. It is a very small group of individuals that keep all of the technology running within our organization. The dedication that they had on display, their quick reaction, and be able to work through the challenge and prevented disruption. Keeping in mind that the communication center, that's the calls from our community members to 911 needing assistance, not only for the Lincoln Police Department, but Lincoln Fire and Rescue, our rural fire departments, and the Sheriff's Office, all hinge on that technology being functional, and their quick action really came in and saved the day for us. They are truly a joy to work with. I don't know that there's a single day that I don't come across Tom or Sam or anyone within that office where they don't have a smile. So it is really exciting for me to celebrate them today. And again, I just want to thank them on behalf of the Lincoln Police Department for the work that they do every day.
Thank you so much, Chief Morrow. And we were, I was complimenting them out in the hall, saying that they came in, with capes on, and now I understand why they said capes and pajamas. Tom or Sam, would either of you like to say a few words? And do you have any special guests you'd like to point out who are here with us today that you brought?
My girlfriend Maddie, who also got woken up that morning. Not being too mad.
Well, thank you to your loved ones and family members for supporting your service. We know it takes a village, and their support is crucial to your ability to serve, so thank you. All right. Well, let's congratulate them one last time. And
Yeah.
is there anything you all would like to say before we head out to take photos?
Well deserved.
Yeah,
Well deserved.
yeah. On behalf of City Council, really a wonderful thing, a service you provided. And I know that IT is critical, as the mayor and chief has said, and being able to jump on that worldwide crisis so quickly. We were one of the lucky communities who got that resolved in a way that didn't do us any long-lasting harm. So thank you.
Thank you. Tom, I didn't know you're such a party animal. Wow. Play hard, work hard. That's great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And with that, we'll continue with the consent agenda. Madam Clerk.
Up next, we have our consent agenda, which are items 1 and 2.
Is there anyone here who'd like to address council on any of the consent items, including presenting on the consent?
Hello, Anastasia Finero. Gonna waive my address. So I just have a quick question that I hope can be answered. I did try to find someone else who could answer it, but no one was at desk. So for reports of city officers, number 1F and 1G, how do we? It says report from city treasurer of city, cash on hand at the close of business on October and November. How does one go about finding this information? Is it on the city's website? Could we be directed a little bit more specifically, because there's nothing on here that illustrates how to find this information?
Yes, it is attached to the agenda digitally. So if you're on the website and you're looking at the agenda, just pull it from the agenda.
So oftentimes downloading the city agenda, there will be like something that mentions that there's something else to download. Is there a way to view the city agenda without downloading it so we could have access to those like hyperlinks that are on the agenda?
You know, I just opened the city agenda and then touched the hyperlink.
All right, interesting. Well, maybe we have different
Yeah.
cell phone services, but is it like just in the, so we would go to the city website,
Mhm.
find specifically the part that says city council,
City council,
click on
agendas.
agendas, and it should be available to see
Yes,
a
it is a
link.
hyperlink. Yes,
within the agenda
yes,
to a separate page.
yes.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else here who'd like to address council on an item on consent? Executive Director Bowles?
Good afternoon, Council. I'm Kate Bowles. I'm the new president and CEO of the Community Health Endowment. I'm on day 6, so I expect all appropriate hazing this afternoon. I'm actually here to present Greer McCurley as for your consideration as a new member of the Community Health Endowment Board of Trustees. Mr. McCurley is a graduate of Yale University and currently serves as the executive director of capital markets at Nelnet. It is, of course, the determination of the mayor's recommendation and this council regarding his position on the Board of Trustees, but I am here to affirm that his qualifications match the statutorily defined responsibilities, particularly budget development and investments, and to affirm that the 5 positions required in our bylaws regarding public health and health-related representatives are filled by other members of the Board of Trustees, making full room for Mr. McCurley. I'm happy to answer any of your questions.
Do any counselors have questions? All right, well then, thank you very much. And then would Mr. McCurley please come forward?
Hello.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great.
All right. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, more than CEO Bowles has said, and explain maybe why you were interested in serving on this board.
I've lived in Lincoln for almost 20 years now. My wife and I moved here at the beginning of 2006. I have spent my entire career in fixed income, and I know that a big focus of the endowment of the community health endowment is focused on generating fixed income returns. So that's been what I've done for the last 25 years. So I'm hopeful that I can be helpful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Well, your
you're welcome.
resume is impressive.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Are there any questions from other counselors?
Where'd you move from?
New York.
Or
Yep. Wanted to coach baseball and couldn't do that in New York, so moved here. So it's been awesome.
All right. Well, Councilman Duden is a baseball fan.
Yeah.
Well played.
Yeah. Yeah, I coached my last game this summer, unfortunately, so it was a very emotional event for me.
yeah, it would be rough.
Yeah. Madam Chair.
Yes.
Greer, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you for your commitment to serve on this board, especially the fiscal piece of this board, which is integral to the endowment continuing to make funding available to nonprofits in our community. It's paramount in order for that funding to continue going forward. And so thank you for lending your expertise to this endowment and making sure that it's fiscally sound for years moving forward. We appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank
I don't
you.
think people really understand that this was, started by Mayor Mike Johans after the sale of Lincoln General Hospital, and this endowment has just helped so many different agencies and people within the Lincoln community. It's just an outstanding organization, so really glad to see you on board.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anyone here to speak on either this item on consent or any other item on consent? Sir, if you'd like to speak on an item that's on the consent agenda, please come forward. Copies of the agenda are in, well, thank you, Director Hoyle. All right. If there are no other comments about the consent agenda, Madam Clerk, let's move forward.
I'd like to make a motion though on
Oh.
1B.
Yes.
The reappointment of Kenneth Brownell and Marcy Haas, that needs to be amended to be, to subtract Marcy Haas from that motion.
Yes.
And leave Kenneth
Read it
Brownell on
first.
there.
Yeah, we will, thank you. Since we've had the motion, can we get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Carlson. All right, and we'll come back to that during the vote on the motion to amend. So if you don't mind, we'll hold that just a smidge. All right. Madam Clerk, let's begin at the top.
Okay, we will vote on these items, starting with 1A, which is appointing Greer McCurley to the Community Health Endowment Board of Trustees for a term to expire September 1st, 2027, introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Beckius,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Item 1B, reappointing Kenneth Brownell and Marcy Haas to the Veterans Memorial Garden Advisory Council for partial one-year terms to complete 6 years of concurrent service to expire November 1st, 2025, introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Carlson. And now we have a motion to amend number 1 on the docket as well. Tom Duden motioned, Carlson seconded. Could you call the roll on the motion to amend?
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
And now the main motion, please.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you.
Item 1C is reappointing Lynetta Edison So to the Mayor's Multicultural Advisory Committee for a term to expire September 18th, 2027, introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Bowers,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Item 1D is approving appropriations in the amount of $250,000 from the operation of Keno lottery funds for various human services, introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? I just wanted to note that the Keno distribution really is going to a lot of really well-deserving organizations. Every organization that applies for this funding is doing good work in our community, and I'm really thankful for the organizations that won the funds this year. I continue to look at the work that they do to help families and children in crisis situations. So thank you so much. All right. Please call the roll.
Beckius,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Weber,
Abstain.
Schob,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 6-0.
6-1. One abstain. Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Did you want to approach the council? You need to come forward to the microphone, but we're in a voting session now, but I know this is your first time here, so please come forward. Yeah, come on, come forward to the microphone, please. You have to come to the microphone,
I'm up here, sir.
and then if you would please state your name for the record and your address so that we know who's approached.
My name is Timothy Jones, and my address, well, I can be reached by mail at this time, 2121 North 27th Street,
Okay.
or 110 Crew Street. Here, when you say human services, I want to know what they're going for adults or just kids with disabilities or kids that's in group homes, or how they go? Does they go for people in shelters or?
I'm going to have Human Services Director Sarah Hoyle respond to your question.
Yes. Hi, Council. Sarah Hoyle, Director of Human Services for the City of Lincoln and Lancaster County. And to answer the question before the Council, it is services for both adults and juveniles. In here, you have services that address behavioral health, that speak to mentoring, that speak to homelessness. So it's a vast array of services that.
Okay. Is it also housing?
There's some to not directly housing, but to prevent homelessness. So when we look at like Fresh Start has a transitional program that is supported, and I'd be happy to provide you. This was attached to the agenda, but the hard copy is not on what you received. So I'd be happy to give you this list.
Okay, but from my understanding here at Lincoln, we have a lot of transitional housing for people that's on substance and alcohol. Not housing, but places where they can go for AA meeting and things like that. And we only have my tablet have three personal housing, 2 for men and 1 for women. Centerpoint finally has a house where they house several people.
Sir? I think that your comments are really geared toward at the end of our meeting. If you'd like to address the
I was
need.
I was addressing her now
Okay.
because
But-
what she was giving me was kind of a lot of money, but a lack of needs. We only have 1 shelter for men and women, and that's the Michigan City. And we have several people that stay here on the streets or staying with their friends and other people that's overcrowded and populated. If you looked in our neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? So 250,000 is, and we got Lutheran churches and we got all these things, but we don't have no place to put these people, and they getting arrested by Lincoln police for trespassing, where they're messing up their record and their life just to have a place to go. And it's a continued thing going, and I'm standing right in the middle, ready to go to tomorrow just because I'm trying to have a roof over my head with no criminal record.
Thank you.
And we need y'all to do something else with this money.
I'd be happy to meet with you. We can talk more about, outside of this.
Yeah, and your comments are on the record now.
Well, okay.
Okay.
So do I talk to anybody or?
I'd be happy to meet with you.
Director Hoyle will
Thank
talk with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk, I think we're, one more item.
Yep,
On
one more
consent.
item. Item 1E, investment activity report for quarter ending November 30th, 2024, introduced by Bowers.
So moved. Second.
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Carlson,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
All right, let's move on.
Up next, we have our public hearing liquor resolutions. I will be calling item 3A and 3B together. Application of Opulent Nails Spa LLC, doing business as Opulent Nail and Spa for a Class I liquor license located at 8415 Maddox Drive, Suite 102, and the related manager application of Tak Nguyen.
All right. Is the applicant here for 3A and 3B? All right. Is anyone here to speak either in support or in opposition to 3A and 3B? Okay. We'll move on to the next application. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Item 3C is the manager application of Aiden Burkett for Hopcat LN LLC, doing business as Hopcat Lincoln, located at 601 P Street.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Burkett.
Good afternoon, guys.
All right, would you give us, I know your name, but if you would say your name for the record and your address.
My name is Aiden Burkett. I live at 3053 T Street in Lincoln, Nebraska. We're just reapplying for a liquor permit for the business of Hopcat Lincoln. I recently moved back from Detroit. Otherwise, I was pretty much a Nebraska native since 2003 from when I moved from Arizona. So,
Okay. All right. Are there any questions for Mr. Burkett?
Welcome back to Lincoln.
yeah, thank you. It's great to be back, guys.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
That's it.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. Is there anyone here who'd like to comment on this application, either in support or in opposition? All right. Madam Clerk, let's call the next item.
Item 3D is the manager application of Kevin Clark for Zipline Brewing Company LLC, doing business as Zipline Brewing Company, located at 2100 Magnum Circle, Suite 1 through 5.
I can,
Good
hello
afternoon.
again.
Welcome back.
Mark Lawson, President of Zipline Brewing, for Kevin Clark. Yeah, we're just signing off on our final license for the actual brewery, 2100 Magnum Street. Again, Kevin's registered for the February class, so shouldn't be any issues.
All right. Any other questions,
No, ma'am.
comments? All right.
All right,
Good
thank
luck. All right. Madam Clerk, let's call the roll on liquor resolutions. Oh, I forgot to ask. Is there anyone here to speak in support or opposition to this item? Madam Clerk.
Madam Chair, seeing no one else coming forward, I'd like to make two motions in this section.
Okay.
My first motion will be for item 3A and 3B. I'd like to move denial.
Second?
Thank you.
Carlson?
If I may,
Yes.
after an investigation by Inspector Parker, we found that both of these applications apply for one location, one manager, and the location is in violation of local zoning ordinances.
Okay.
We cannot provide them with a license at this time.
Okay. All right. Has the applicant been notified?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. All right. We have a motion on the floor for denial.
Second?
No, and we have a second, so I think we can vote on this item. Madam Clerk.
Nope.
He stepped out. He'll be back later.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion for approval of items 3C and 3D.
Second?
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? All right, Madam Clerk.
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. Moving ahead to public hearing resolutions. Let's begin.
Starting with item 4A, accepting and approving the report of new and pending claims against the city for December 1st through December 30th, 2024.
All right. Is there anyone here who'd like to comment on this item? Claims against the city, December 1 through December 30, 2024. Is there anyone here in the chambers who'd like to address the council on a claim against the city? All right. Seeing no one, we'll move forward. Oh. If you'd like to speak, you may please come down and speak.
Go to the printer, I'll be right back.
No apologies necessary. Just state your name for the record.
Timothy Jones.
Okay.
I noticed being in the city, I've been here before, but I just came back. I noticed being in the city, business and everything has a right to maybe go up on their prices for a certain amount. We would request that the city give us 60 days, 90 days, 30 days notice before they just go up on their prices, before we walk up and they just go up on their prices as far as the stores, the Treasury building, or where we get our license plates and everything, would they just give a notice? Even though it's hard living under these circumstances and these incomes, but if they're gonna go up on the prices, give us a notice. Give us a 30-day notice, or 90-day notice, or 60-day notice.
Of city services?
City services.
All right.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else to speak on a claim against the city? All right. Let's move to the next item.
Item 4B is approving a professional services agreement supplement number 1 for environmental services between the City of Lincoln and HDR Engineering Incorporated for the Waterford Trail Project.
Good afternoon, Mr. Yost.
Good afternoon, J.J. Yost, Assistant Director at Parks and Recreation. The agreement before you this afternoon is with HDR Consulting Firm. It's for the environmental work, the NEPA work associated with trail design for the extension of our trail network. Through the Waterford development, this trail will pick up or connect to the trail that runs along North 84th Street, just north of O Street, and extend through Southeast Community College campus and on through the Waterford development. We'll provide connection to the Robinson Elementary School and the future neighborhood park in Waterford development. So this is the early step in starting to do the design work, doing the environmental checks and compliance work associated with the federal funding that's provided for this trail network. It's a 80-20% split, federal funds, local funds. Our local funding comes from impact fees for this district. And so I believe the total contract amount is about $78,600. That means $15,700, or the 20% will come from impact fees. Yeah, and with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Are there any questions from council members? Seeing none.
Thank you.
You got it easy this afternoon.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anyone here in chambers who'd like to speak on this item, either in support or in opposition? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item.
Item 4C is approving a license agreement between the City of Lincoln and Lincoln Flying Disc Club, the operation and scheduling of league and tournament play at flying disc courses located at Tierra Park, Roper Park, Bethany Park, and Beal Slough Greenway.
Good afternoon and welcome.
Hi, thank you. My name is Denise Pierce. I'm with Lincoln Parks and Rec. Our address is 3131 O Street, Suite 300. I'm here with the president of the Lincoln Flying Disc Club, Trenton Franz. He's going to speak in just a moment here today. The agreement in front of you today covers or relates to the disc golf courses at 4 park locations: Tierra Park, Roper Park, Beal Slough Greenway, and then Bethany Park. These courses were constructed and improved over time thanks to the hard work of Trenton and all of his volunteers with the Lincoln Flying Disc Club. The club also programs these courses, including league play and also tournaments. So for the last several years, the Parks and Rec Department has documented the relationship that we have with the club via an annual license agreement. And quite frankly, the agreement hasn't changed over time. So we thought it was time to come to you with a multi-year agreement. Anything more than 1 year needs to come to you. So the agreement that you have in front of you looks almost identical to the past agreements that we've had in place. Just a couple highlights. You'll see on page 1, paragraph 3, the term of the agreement. Again, no longer 1 year, we're going to move to 4 years. So we'll start this year through the end of 2028. Paragraph 4 then on page 1, extending onto page 2, that's just outlining the maintenance responsibilities between the club and the Parks Department. We've had several years to work this out. We've got a pretty good gig going on there. Also on page 2 then, paragraph 6, you're going to see a reference to a restricted fund with the Parks Department directing the club to put some money in that fund on an annual basis. That operates similar to an endowment that we have with a lot of our projects. This was put together in connection with the Beal Slough Greenway capital campaign. So that's why it's limited to Beal Slough Greenway. In the very unlikely event that the club is not here in the future, this fund will be there to help with the upkeep of that course at Beal Slough Greenway. And then you'll see all of those standard city law provisions that they like to see in our license agreements kind of throughout the rest of the agreement there. I just want to close by saying thank you to Trenton and his team at the Lincoln Flying Disc Club. It really is because of their fundraising, their many volunteer hours, and just their passion for the sport that we have these courses available in the city of Lincoln. This really is the type of public-private partnership that does two things. It brings people in for tournaments, economic development, and it's also here for our residents, contributing to the quality of life, making us the quality of life capital of the country. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Trenton to talk a little bit about the club. He may hit on a few of the things that were in his annual report that I believe Maggie sent to you before the end of the year, and then we're happy to answer any questions about the agreement. Trenton?
Great. Thank you, Denise, and thank you for meeting with me today. So first of all, disc golf, it's a little bit different from Frisbee, so I just brought in a disc to show you guys, and we certainly will invite anyone to go try out if you want to try out the sport at any time. So open invitation there. So just a couple of highlights from the annual report is last year we invested nearly $40,000 between private donations and fundraising to the courses, and a little over 2,000 volunteer hours. The impact of disc golf, we had about 160,000 rounds played, which is about the same as a traditional golf, so same amount of use, which is probably something you didn't know. The Beal Slough course, the one that we built a couple of years ago, is actually a championship level course. It's in the top 100 out of 15,000 locations worldwide, so we're very proud of that. Brings in a lot of people. Last year we documented people coming from 43 states to play that course, as well as 4 different countries. Each May we host a very large event for disc golf, about 250 players, over 3 days, bringing in about $50,000 of economic impact from that event. Our other major accomplishment is we also built a beginner's course at Bethany, and we've had a lot of excitement about that. We've actually partnered with Vital Services, a local company that provides programming for adult special needs, so we work with them on that course. In addition, that course also offers free discs for any local participants, and all the course signage is in English and Spanish, given a request from the local community. So with that, happy to take any questions, and again, appreciate your support.
I'd add that I read in the paper that Maggie made some assignments to you all for some of our programming. We're not doing that today, but if you do want to get yourself out on the course, let us know. We're happy to connect you with Trenton or someone from his team.
All right. Are there any questions or comments from council members?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to piggyback off of Ms. Pierce's comments and thank you, Trenton, and your team of volunteers and board members for once again creating that public-private partnership with Parks and Recreation to really move this sport forward in our community. I didn't know until you just said that we had one of the top 100 courses in the world right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I think the work that your board does, volunteers here in our community do on behalf of the sport is really a testament to what can be achieved in a community when folks can work together. So I just wanted to say thank you for that work, and I think we're all pretty darn excited to be entering into a multi-year contract to make sure that that work continues. So thank you again. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Oh, Tom Duden, Councilman.
I'd just like to say it's obvious that you have a real dedication and passion for this sport here. I guess it's one way to avoid sand traps, golf. So, but thank you very much for doing this in Lincoln, Nebraska. It just puts another star on the map for us. So, thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It is a sport that many people play, even if my other councilmen have never played. It is actually a sport I have tried more than once. I'm not very good at it.
That's okay.
Yeah. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here in chambers who'd like to speak on this application or this contract, either in support or in opposition? Is there anyone here today who'd like to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll move forward.
Item 4D is Comprehensive Plan Amendment 24006, application of 84 Ventures LLC to amend the Lincoln Lancaster County 2050 Comprehensive Plan to revise the priority growth areas map, future service limit, and future land use map by revising the designation of the identified property from Tier 3 to Tier 1 Priority B growth area, revising the future service limit boundary to include the Tier 1 Priority B growth area, and to revise the future land use map from agricultural to urban residential on property generally located at South 84th Street and Rokeby Road.
Right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Mike Eckert with Civil Design Group, here today appearing on behalf of 84 Ventures LLC, a family-owned company that owns this 193 acres of land that we are looking at trying to bring in from Tier 3, which is unusual, to Tier 1B. This is on the edge of the area we called the Rokeby Coalition that we put together in 2007, land that ranged all the way from about 77th Street, clear to 98th Street, up to Jensen Park, and now almost down to Saltillo. And so this particular area wasn't brought in at that time because there was a lot of ambiguities on how and if it could get gravity sewer. And now that we get closer to that and sewer lines are closer, and water line is going to be coming down 84th Street to this property this year. We worked with staff, wastewater department, planning department to look at how to bring this in, and they felt like we showed evidence that it could be developed. When it gets developed, it may not be all the 193 acres. It depends how much we can gravity sewer with the gravity sewer policy. But it's a real sweet spot, I believe, for the city because we're at the very end of a basin that drains back to Beal Slough. This land naturally goes south, clear down to Wagon Train Lake, but we can get the sewer to go back there. So the sewer lines have been sized properly, the water lines are installed, and 84th Street is a paved county road today. Yes, someday it will need improvements, but I think that's 2 to 3 decades off. It's in a quarter mile, within a half mile of the South Beltway. For those folks who might live here, want to get downtown quickly, again, Jensen Park, the Moore Middle School, 2 elementary schools, and to the west is Standing Bear High School. So it's a great location, going to be very efficient to bring it into the city and generate sales tax and impact fees. So be happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Eckert. Are there any questions?
No.
It's a
Thank you.
pretty clear-cut application.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak on this item, either in support or in opposition? Seeing no one, Madam Clerk.
Item 4E, approving the interlocal agreement between the City of Lincoln on behalf of Lincoln Lancaster County Health Department and Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services, Children and Family Services, Child Welfare to manage, maintain, and continue services in Healthy Families America evidence-based home visiting from October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025.
Good afternoon, Director Kernan.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and council members. Carrie Kernan, Health Director with the Lincoln Lancaster County Health Department, 3131 O Street. This interlocal agreement is a bit unique. We started a new agreement through Department of Child and Family Services, so this is not on the public health side, but on the DCFS side. And it's geared toward identifying children that are at risk for child abuse and neglect, so they've had some contact with CPS. Then they're letting those families know about the Healthy Families America Home Visitation Program, which is a child abuse and prevention program. We started a pilot last year. This year will be the second year. They're going to increase the funding just a little bit. We bill based on a unit rate, so everybody gets charged based on a tiered, how the family kind of fits into tiers based on their risk. We are averaging about 17 to 25 families that we're serving. Overall, Healthy Families, we serve about 350 to 400 families. We make 4,400 visits on average. So this is a smaller piece of that pie, and it's 100% voluntary, so there's no you must do this programming. So as the CPS case managers are letting them know about Healthy Families America, they can opt in and say yes to that. Some say yes and then back out in a short period of time. Some do stay with the program, which is meant to be long-term. The eligibility piece is that Mom must be pregnant or postpartum or have a child that comes into the program under the age of 3, but they can work up to that with those families up until that child is 5, and then they graduate as they then enter into the school system. I think that's it. Happy to answer any questions.
Are there any questions from councilmen? Thank you for this program. Are there any comments or concerns? If anyone is here from the public who'd like to address this item, please come forward, either in support or in opposition. All right. Madam Clerk, let's move to the next item.
Item 4F, approving an interlocal agreement between the City of Lincoln on behalf of the Lincoln-Lancaster County Health Department and the Village of Denton for health regulation, inspection, and enforcement within the corporate limits and 1 mile jurisdiction of the Village of Denton.
All right. Welcome back.
Thank you. So the resolution before you, and actually the one to follow, is to approve an interlocal agreement before the City of Lincoln on behalf of the Lincoln-Lancaster County Health Department and the Village of Denton and Davie. These resolutions are actually a renewal of a 10-year agreement that's been in place where we really identify the environmental public health services for the city and then their extraterritorial jurisdiction. So the only change that was made to the agreement was to add the language extra territorial jurisdiction in that agreement, and all of the cities or all of the villages and townships have agreed to this other than Panama and Benton. We had multiple conversations with the community, answered a lot of questions, and they have opted out of renewing their agreement. So all but those 2 villages have renewed. Some of the resolutions that they have adopted and then added into their ordinances have to do with property transfer resolution, air pollution resolution, and then waste resolution. So really the agreements are really outlining all of the environmental public health technical assistance and the services that any of the villages and the townships might need over the 10-year course of time.
Okay. Are there any questions from council members? I think I have one question, and it has to do with the addition of the word extra. So as far as I know, every village in the county has a 1 mile jurisdiction. So it's the village and the 1 mile around it. And you're saying that with the addition of that word extra, 1 mile jurisdiction?
Yeah, as far as that, yeah, my understanding is it includes that 1 mile exterior.
And
yes.
was that the reason for some villages to opt out?
I don't know the reason that they opted out.
Okay.
There was a lot of discussion, and my EPH staff was there on site answering questions, and they, for whatever reason, opted out to renew it this time.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Is there anyone here today who'd like to speak on this item, either in support or in opposition? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, let's move ahead.
Item 4G, approving an interlocal agreement between the City of Lincoln on behalf of Lincoln-Lancaster County Health Department and the Village of Davie for health regulation, inspection, and enforcement within the corporate limits and 1 mile jurisdiction of the Village of Davie.
Director Kernan presented for both of these items, so I will ask separately, is there anyone here who'd like to speak on this item with the Village of Davie? Seeing no one come forward, we will move forward.
Item 4H, approving the proposed revisions to Administrative Regulation Number 20.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome, directors.
We're both here.
All right.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the City Council. Administrative Regulation 20, last updated in early 2020. Okay, sorry, this is my first time, and I'm going to make a few faux pas. So, I'm Joe Dollinger. I'm the Finance Director for the City of Lincoln.
Yay.
And I'm
Thank you.
Barb McIntyre, the Human Resources Director. And
all right.
We're jointly presenting this, but Joe's going to do most of it's his.
All right. Okay. So I already said good afternoon, so I won't do that again. So we last revised this administrative regulation in early 2020. It establishes policies and procedures for payment of expenses for education, training, travel, city-sponsored events, and employee recognition awards programs. The proposed amendment reflects an effort to modernize the regulation in alignment with current industry trends, promote clarity and ensure consistency across all city departments. Some of the updates in this amendment, we've revised the travel policies to prohibit the use of city funds for personal reward programs or travel upgrades. We've incorporated modern travel options like rideshare services and short-term rentals, and we've clarified mileage reimbursement and lodging rate guidelines. We've updated meal reimbursement policies to reflect current IRS standards and provide examples of non-reimbursable expenses. And then on Barb's side of the house, we've updated the Mayor's Award of Excellence program to include additional nomination criteria and reflect current IRS regulations. And then we've clarified, added some clarification for hosting city-sponsored events and non-routine meetings to standardize expectations across departments. These updates also are accompanied by a few minor editorial changes that kind of harmonize the language and ensure uniformity in the regulation. So with that, we'd ask the council to adopt the resolution by approving the amendments to Administrative Regulation 20.
Right. Thank you. Did you want to present before we?
I can just go over the Mayor's Award of Excellence. What we really did there was we updated the categories, added some new ones to better align with the city's values. Some of them stayed the same, the ones we have on valor and safety, but you will see some new categories there around sustainability and resilience in our community, engagement, community engagement, and some other things like that that are just new categories, but better reflective of those values. So,
thank you. Are there any comments or questions from council members? Councilman Beckius.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate it. I did have some reach out from a constituent who was just wanting to know a little bit more information regarding some of the submittals that would be going back to the city once someone travels and they're resubmitting, say, for instance, for example, meals was their specific question. My understanding is that the new proposal still states that you are only to be reimbursed for what's actually spent. It's not, you're still, of course, limited to the per diem, but then it's up to the department director to request whether or not receipts are provided for meals. And just a quick question, didn't know if that was in concert with updates, suggested guideline updates from the IRS, or if it's just more of an accounting ease for finance, or if you could speak to those issues a little bit.
Yeah, the harmonization with IRS guidelines is really to clarify when somebody's in status of overnight travel and traveling for multiple days.
Yep.
75% of the per diem rate established by the GSA is what's allowable on those 2 days of travel. So that's really the harmonization with IRS guidelines. When someone is traveling overnight, the way that would work in practice is they would be reimbursed that per diem rate less the incidental. I believe it's there's a $5 inclusion of incidental expenses that is subtracted out. A lot of governments are going away from looking at receipts, and they're using those GSA per diem rates to lower the risk to the organization of audit and to just alleviate the administrative burden. They're really not very generous rates, so the fiscal savings and itemizing all those receipts and then looking at the receipts to make sure there's no unallowable items like alcohol purchases really isn't beneficial to governments to do that.
Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. That's
Yeah,
all
you
I
bet.
needed.
Thank you
Madam
very
Chair.
much. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, and just stand by and see if there's any questions or comments from the public.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here in chambers today who'd like to address this item, either in support or in opposition?
Hi, my name is Majee Miller-Jenkins. I'm going to withhold my address. I just had a quick question about how often were people abusing the system to need those rules, or what prompted the update or the change to the rules? Were people spending inappropriately and it got found out? Was it, what was the catalyst that decided that those new rules were needed. I don't know if I'm asking you or if I'm asking them. I'm not really sure.
It's fine to address us. We will ask the director to come back and explain.
Okay.
Yeah. And do you have another question as well?
No. I was just
Okay.
waiting for an answer.
All right.
Yeah, so the impetus to make this change to the regulations, it's a periodic update when IRS regulations advance and are promulgated. We look at our own procedures and policies and make corresponding updates. So it's really a routine maintenance of the administrative regulation.
And it looks like it's been several years since this has been updated.
Correct, January 2020, thereabouts.
All right. You can, yeah.
How often is it supposed to be updated if it hasn't been updated since 2020? Is this like an every 5-year event? Is it something that's supposed to be updated every 2 years?
Yeah. Really, with administrative regulations, that depends on other governing regulations around them. So with this particular regulation, a lot of what governs it is dictated by the IRS. So depending on when the IRS makes new rules around travel expense reimbursements, that would prompt us to look at our own regulations. So in short, it depends on the regulation.
Okay, and just so I'm understanding, the IRS did come out with new regulations, which is what prompted this particular review?
This review started a bit before I joined with the city, so I don't know the discussions on what prompted this particular review. But yes, the IRS does periodically make some changes to their per diem reimbursements for travel.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you very much, Director Donlinger.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right. Madam Clerk.
We'll move on to item 4I.
Please.
Approving an agreement between the City of Lincoln on behalf of the Lincoln-Lancaster County Health Department and the Nebraska Association of Local Health Directors to accept a 3-year sub-grant in the amount of $231,000 to address issues associated with health equity concerns and social detriments of health through community health workers in community settings to screen, educate, and empower diverse community members to address a range of prevention and healthcare issues.
Welcome back again.
Thank you. So as mentioned, this is a 3-year contract with the Nebraska Association of Local Health Directors. The funding for this work these are not federal funds, they actually come from 2 of the current managed care organizations. So United Healthcare and Nebraska Total Care are actually supporting this endeavor with all the health departments across the state. So this will be a 3-year contract. Right now, we've been doing this for a little over a year. Our community outreach specialist, our community resource specialist that works in the STI clinic is actually screening every client that comes in with the social determinants of health screening that we've adopted from the American Academy of Family Practice. We hope to expand this once that gets solidified. So as individuals come in, we screen. If they have any needs, then that individual helps them link to those resources. The predominant need right now is access to health insurance and access to a primary care provider in addition to pharmaceuticals and mental health supports. And then it goes on from there with housing, food security, transportation, legal support. It could be a plethora of whatever those needs are. So that individual helps them navigate those resources and ensures that they have a connection. So it's not just, here's a number to call. Can we make a call right here on your behalf, get you connected to make sure that they get those resources right then and there.
What a great program.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any questions I can answer?
I see no questions from councilmen.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there's anyone here in the chambers who'd like to address this issue, they may come forward.
Hi, Najee Miller Jenkins again. As somebody that does an exorbitant amount of community work, I was just wondering when it says that this is to promote like diversity. Do they have specific program requirements for people with disabilities, or what is the inclusivity aspect of people with disabilities? And then also, do they consider being unhoused a community health issue? Is that something that is addressed with this? And then also food insecurity, is that considered a community health issue, will this $213,000 be applied towards Little Free Pantries to actually give out food? Will it be applied towards the people that are doing other works? Like, I'm just curious.
So the funding supports the staff time to actually do this work. So there's no funding external as far as, you know, a food bank or rental assistance. It's just staff to actually do the assessments and then make the referrals to make that connection to that resource.
Okay, so the $231,000 is to pay for staff, like their salaries?
Correct, over a 3-year period of time.
How many staff are included in the $231,000?
It's just 1.0, a 1.0 FTE.
I'm sorry.
One person full-time?
So one person full-time over the next 3 years is going to make $231,000?
$77,000 per year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a reason why we're only asking for one person?
Well, the person that's doing that just pays maybe about 0.75 of their salary.
Oh.
So we're city and county funds then make up that difference.
Okay. Thanks for clearing that up.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else would like to address the council on this item? You're welcome to come forward, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones, you need to come forward to the microphone so that you're on the record. Yeah. Mr. Jones, the reason we ask folks to come forward is because we have folks viewing from home on television, and the only way that they can hear you is if you're at the microphone. And so if you would please.
I understand.
Thank you.
I'm also shy, so please forgive me. Like you said, that it's not just a number to call, but they give us just a number to call, and we call these Medicare people, and they doing the same thing we doing, calling what they see on the computer. And I think that's not right. If y'all gonna do business and contracts with these Medicare people, they should have a place for us to go. Give us a listing where we can and can't go. We sitting here and we doing pen and paper trying to find out who accept our medical. And that's not right. If y'all gonna do business with these people, y'all need to do business with the doctors, dentists, and everybody else, and ask them, can they be signed on a list to give to these people that take their medical so they know exactly where they can go. I went to a hospital, and they said they don't take my medical. I went to another one, they don't take my medical. I called, and she verified to me that she's on the internet looking to see who take my medical. I said, I'm doing the same thing. So can we find a way to work that out?
So that's one of the things that the staff person does when they do these screenings, that if there's a challenge with either access to health insurance, so there's no health insurance, we get them on, get their Medicaid application in, and we ensure that we're getting them connected to a primary care provider that accepts that Medicaid. So not everybody accepts all 3 Medicaids, but that's what my staff will help do so that you don't run into those barriers.
Okay, basically they doing what I would do.
Yes, they're helping to navigate the system.
Okay, why are they a part of us if we gonna participate with them? And we gotta figure out who's gonna participate with them. And y'all should be able to do that with medical yourself. So what we doing is accepting medical and then accepting an operator to see who will take our medical that's doing the same thing we doing, and they get $77,000 a year.
So we're helping people that may not even know how to navigate that system or may not even know where to start. And so as they're coming through our clinic, we're asking them what needs do you have and how can we help you navigate those needs.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're really not working with Medicaid.
What we do with Medicaid is the Medicaid application. So we help submit that with all that application. And then once it's approved, we make sure you get connected to a primary care medical provider.
Okay, I understand that. So you just walk in the facility and say, we'll help you with SNAP, we'll help you with medical,
Vic and
we'll help you
Medicaid.
with
Yep.
resources to find housing.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Director. All right. Is there anyone else? Madam Clerk, let's move into voting session on resolutions, please.
Okay. We will start the voting session on 4A, accepting and approving the report of due and pending claims against the city for December 1st through December 30th, 2024, introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Beckius.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Duden.
Yes.
Schob.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Item 4B is approving a professional services agreement supplement number 1 for environmental services between the City of Lincoln and HDR Engineering Incorporated for the Waterford Trail Project, introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Weber.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Duden.
Yes.
Schob.
Yes.
Beckius.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Item 4C, approving a license agreement between the City of Lincoln and Lincoln Flying Disc Club, the operation and scheduling of league and tournament play at flying disc courses located at Tierra Park, Roper Park, Bethany Park, and Beal Slough Greenway, introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Bowers.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Schob.
Yes.
Duden.
Yes.
Beckius.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Item 4D, Comprehensive Plan Amendment 24006, application of 84 Ventures LLC to amend the Lincoln Lancaster County 2050 Comprehensive Plan to revise the priority growth areas map, future service limit, and future land use map by revising the designation of the identified property from Tier 3 to Tier 1 Priority B growth area, revising the future service limit boundary to include the Tier 1 Priority B growth area, and to revise the future land use map from agricultural to urban residential on property generally located at South 84th Street and Rokeby Road, introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Beckius.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Schob.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Duden.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Item 4E is approving the interlocal agreement between the City of Lincoln on behalf of Lincoln Lancaster County Health Department and Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services, Children and Family Services, Child Welfare to manage, maintain, and continue services in Healthy Families America, evidence-based home visiting from October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025, introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Carlson.
Yes.
Duden.
Yes.
Schob.
Yes.
Beckius.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Item 4F, approving an interlocal agreement between the City of Lincoln on behalf of the Lincoln Lancaster County Health Department and the Village of Denton for health regulation, inspection, and enforcement within the corporate limits and 1 mile jurisdiction of the Village of Denton, introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Bowers.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Duden.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Schob.
Yes.
Beckius.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Item 4G, approving an interlocal agreement between the City of Lincoln on behalf of the Lincoln Lancaster County Health Department and the Village of Davie for health regulation, inspection, and enforcement within the corporate limits and 1 mile jurisdiction of the Village of Davie, introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
Beckius.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Schob.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Duden.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Item 4H is approving the proposed revisions to Administrative Regulation Number 20, introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? Madam Clerk.
The only thing
Oh,
I'd like to
yes,
say is that any rule regulation is generated for one thing, and that's to gain voluntary compliance. It's not because of somebody abusing anything or doing anything wrong, but by having these rules in place and revising them, keeps everybody down the straight and narrow. So that's the full purpose of it.
Thank you. All right. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Carlson.
Yes.
Duden.
Yes.
Schob.
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0. Item 4I is approving an agreement between the City of Lincoln on behalf of the Lincoln-Lancaster County Health Department and the Nebraska Association of Local Health Directors to accept a 3-year sub-grant in the amount of $231,000 to address issues associated with health equity concerns and social determinants of health through community health workers in community settings to screen, educate, and empower diverse community members to address a range of prevention and healthcare issues. Introduced by Beckius.
So moved.
Second.
Second, Carlson. Any discussion? Madam Clerk?
Bowers,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
All right. We can move ahead to public hearings, ordinances, second reading.
We'll read item 5A, which is text amendment 24013, request of the Lincoln-Lancaster County Planning Department to amend Lincoln Municipal Code Section 27.02.020A by adding a definition for annual attraction event, Section 2706060, agricultural use group, to change agricultural attraction from a permitted conditional use to a permitted special use. Section 2706150, commercial recreation and entertainment facilities use group, to change amusement license to annual attraction event. Section 2762030, agricultural use group, to delete language regarding agricultural attraction permitted conditions, and Section 27.62.120, commercial recreation and entertainment facilities use group, to amend the language to annual attraction event and requiring those events to register with the county clerk by amending Chapter 27.63 special permits to add a new section numbered 27.63.360 entitled agricultural attraction allowed by special permit in the AG district under certain conditions.
David Carey, Director of the Planning Department, 555 South 10th Street. Thank you for some of your time today on this proposed text amendment. Let me try to kind of boil it down to hopefully a little bit more simple than the big, long readout that we had to do. I apologize for that. So what happened in the last state legislative session, they decided to remove the allowance of the use of an amusement license in a general sense. And amusement license shows up in both the county and the city zoning codes. So with that action and change, we needed to address that in both on the city and the county side. So what you have before you right now is for the city zoning ordinance, a proposal to remove any reference to amusement license because they are no longer to be used. That's the one main change. The other change is, as we've talked about this, there was still a desire to have some type of allowable approval process for larger activities out in the agricultural district. And so what we are proposing here for your consideration and action is to create a new special permit for agricultural attraction in the agricultural district. And so what that does is it allows for us to have a review process for large events, especially those that recur for several weeks or months and things like that. So think of a pumpkin patch in the fall, things like that. Because there can be some influences on the surrounding neighbors, there can be traffic, often is traffic, dust control comes up sometimes too. So we are recommending to you to create that special permit in the code, as well as to identify an annual attraction event which wouldn't have any other regulations other than to register with the county clerk so that there is some idea of when an event is happening. And that allows for some type of awareness could be by the sheriff's department, things like that, or the county engineer's office for county road usage and things like that. So that is boiling it down to the main changes that are proposed here. And it really is stemming from the need to do something based on the change at the state level. Removing the use of amusement licenses. This did go before the Planning Commission and was approved unanimously. We did not have anyone present at the hearing to testify on this. And with that, I will answer any questions you have.
I do have one question. Did you have any opposition in PATS in the electronic system?
No.
Did anyone file? Okay.
No.
Oh, Councilman Duda.
Are there fees for these permits? Or
Uh,
the application process?
There is no fee for the annual attraction event, just the requirement to register that an event's going to happen. There is the typical special permit fee for the agricultural attraction that we're proposing to create for the special permit. So it would fall under the rest of the special permits that we already require.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone here today who'd like to speak on this item? Anyone here today wishing to speak on the agricultural event permit? All right. Madam Clerk.
That ends our public hearing. Resolutions, first reading are items 6A through 6D. Our pending list date certain, items 7A and 7B. And then pending list, items 8A through 8C.
All right.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Dude? Yes.
I would like to, on 7A, sorry, Tom, you want to go ahead?
Go ahead.
On 7A, I'd like to go ahead and move that to pending status, no date certain, as opposed to the current pending list date certain.
So there's a motion to move 7A to pending list, no date certain. Do we have a second?
Yes.
Duden, second. Thank you. All right. Any discussion on this? Madam, please read the roll.
Schob,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Duden,
Yes.
Carlson,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
All right, thank you very much. All right. Today is a time in the meeting where we have open public comment. Anyone wishing to address the council on a matter not on this agenda and not planned to appear on a future agenda may do so during this session. Each individual is allowed a total of 5 minutes to speak, regardless of the number of topics. We only ask that you remain civil and allow the business of council to proceed. So if there's anyone here who'd like to address the council, please come forward. Good evening.
Keishawn Lungelo, 323 North 44th Street. Again, here to advocate for the Palestinian people. As it is currently right now, according to Al Jazeera, in Gaza, killed are at least 46,565 people, including 17,492 children. Injured more than 109,660 people, missing more than 11,160. In the occupied West Bank, killed at least 845 people, including at least 174 children, injured more than 6,700 people. Across the Gaza Strip, more than half of Gaza's homes have been damaged or destroyed, 80% of commercial facilities, 88% of school buildings, healthcare facilities, 47% hospitals partially functional, 68% of road networks destroyed, 68% of cropland. For journalists killed, at least 217 Palestinian, 3 Lebanese. Again, the city of Lincoln can do something about this current genocide. It's 2025, New Year, same genocide. We're wasting our taxpayer money on this when our current poverty rate in the city of Lincoln is 12.6%. Our politicians are wasting our time on Friday passing laws that define what a man and a woman is when we have the citizens of Lincoln, Nebraska struggling to meet ends meet in the year 2025. When we have the city of Lincoln participating in a genocide where we're killing tens of thousands of people, including little kids, babies, children, when we could be on the right side of history and decide to say no we will not participate in that. We will be better. I implore upon you to do something. We will continue to be here because I have a conscience and I don't like it when kids get murdered. That's all I have.
Hi, my name is Majee Miller Jenkins. I've been up here a lot. And I've tried a lot of different things, and I'm gonna try something a little bit different today. If you can hook up this thing so you can see what I'm seeing on my phone. Can you zoom in on it at all? Where's that?
You need to manage this.
Oh, okay, perfect. There you go, perfect. Okay, so I spent my Friday at the Capitol, Friday morning, loudly opposing the fact that our government, which includes you, but that particular day it was for the senators, but I spent that day loudly opposing the fact that our government is focused on the wrong stuff. Y'all are focused on bathrooms and sports. And us as your constituents, this is what we're focused on. So if you would allow me the opportunity, I'd love to introduce you to my friend Hassan. This is Hassan. I'm not going to read you his whole story. He's a doctor in Palestine. These are pictures of the rubble that used to be his home, what he's living in now, what his apartment used to be. There's his son. I talk to this man every single day. I know his kids. I know his family. I know what they went through because I've watched it. He uploads videos every day, and I watch him survive. I watch him walk through rubbled streets. I watch him beg me for $20 because his son has a broken tooth, and in Gaza there is no medicine. And so they have to pack sand in an 8-year-old's tooth so that he can swallow the bread that isn't even really bread. One time, I sent them $40 so that they could get flour, and they opened the bag of flour and it was sand. These things don't exist in a vacuum or a bubble. Everything is interconnected. Hassan is my friend. I know Hassan better than I know any of you, minus you, but any of the rest of you. I know more about Hassan's life than I know really about any of your guys' life because I participate in his life on a daily basis. You guys don't participate in mine on a daily basis. Why is it that me as a constituent that spends my time donating it to the community, why do I care so much and you don't? You guys get paid to do this. Y'all get paid to care. Do you know we have Palestinian Americans that live in Lincoln? I'm friends with a few of them. Do you know their families are dying? Do you know that you guys accepted a contract with Pepsi? And Pepsi directly impacts the genocide in Gaza? You all did that. Voted yes, voted yes, voted yes, voted yes, voted yes, voted yes, voted yes. You guys all made a conscious decision to facilitate a genocidal action. And I hope you hold the weight of that on your shoulders. Because I think about it every single day. Because I talk to my friend Hassan every single day. I hope you know that Lincoln and Nebraska specifically are above the national average on hungry children. As I'm sending my little bits of money to try to counterbalance what my genocidal tax dollars are doing to their families, to their homes, 1 in 5 children in my own community go hungry. 1 in 5. I donate at 3 separate free distribution programs, events. It's really just people that love people that are getting together. We don't get paid by anybody. Nobody's funding us. We just do this. Never seen any of you there. Not one of you. Not one of you has even asked me or asked the community, what you should be attending and what you should be doing. So maybe if y'all have free time on a Saturday or a Sunday, my name is the same on Facebook. Look me up and hit me up and let me help you get connected to the community because we need help. We are suffering, hungry, tired, and a lot of us are unhoused or close to it. Your job is to protect us and make our world better. Start doing it more effectively.
My name is Anastasia Fenner. I'm going to waive my address for my personal safety. First off, I would like to start off with a little bit of good news and congratulate all of Ireland for, deciding to stand up and do what's right and join South Africa in their lawsuit against Israel. Israel has, actually, you know what? I'm going to read a little blurb from Democracy Now! And it says, Ireland joins South Africa's ICJ genocide case against Israel. Ireland has become the latest country to formally join South Africa's genocide case against Israel before the International Court of Justice. Last month, Israel closed its embassy in Ireland to protest after Ireland initially said it would join the case. Meanwhile, Israel is blocking the United Nations from investigating reports of sexual crimes allegedly committed by Hamas during the October 7th attacks. The Israeli newspaper Haaretz reports Israel blocked the probe because it feared it would open the door to the UN investigating the sexual abuse of Palestinians held in Israeli prisons. Of course, this is sexual abuse that we inherently support because Lincoln, Nebraska, as you know, has a weapons manufacturer on Superior and Industrial Avenue called General Dynamics, and they make 2,000-pound bombs that kill children. Your city council is very well aware of this fact. Your city council is also aware of your personal suffering, even though they decided to not attend the rally that was going on Friday, January 10th, to stand against the anti-hate press conference that was going inside, spearheaded by our very own Governor Pillen. I also would like to just illustrate a little bit more on how the settler violence that is going on in Israel is bolstered by the United States, and I would just like to read this report about from Jewish Voices for Peace that says, Israeli settlers carried out more violence against Palestinians in 2024 than any other year recorded by the UN. Who are Israeli settlers? Israeli settlers are Israelis who live on land that they have stolen from Palestinians in violation of international law. Now, see, the City Council of Lincoln, Nebraska supports this because they decided to go ahead with a Pepsi contract. Pepsi owns SodaStream, which occupies land illegally in the West Bank. So we are on purpose saying that we are cool with this. What do Israeli settler attacks against Palestinians look like? Mobs of armed Israeli settlers frequently invade Palestinian neighborhoods and towns where they assault and even kill Palestinians, set their homes and lands on fire, destroy their cars, kill animals and belongings to Palestinian families. How do they get away with this? Israeli settlers often attack Palestinians with the full backing of the Israeli government and under the watch of Israeli soldiers. Israeli settlers are almost never charged for violently assaulting Palestinians, emboldening them to continue attacking Palestinians with full impunity. And I must say that does sound exactly like Lincoln, Nebraska, because I haven't heard any updates about what happened to the 12-year-old Sudanese boy who was violently attacked and hospitalized. Sounds exactly the same. No accountability there. No accountability here. Why do they attack Palestinians? They attack families in order to intimidate and push them off their lands, in order to fulfill their goal in stealing all the lands for themselves. That also sounds uniquely Nebraskan, seeing the police officers, side with Manzito when they tried to run a man over for simply saying, hey, don't bulldoze the sacred land. Sounds exactly like the kind of behavior that we see here. Really does. In 2024, the UN recorded 1,400 instances of Israeli settler violence against Palestinians in the West Bank. And since October 2023, Israeli settlers have erased at least 50 Palestinian communities in the West Bank. That sounds a lot like, what we do here in the States. We give them the guns, we give them the bullets, and we just, let our own people, die in starvation. And I just want it said for the record that the amount of cash on hand that apparently Lincoln has is $698,093,541. $69,093,514. Well spent on your unhoused community.
Is there anyone else here? Excuse me, is there anyone else here who'd like to address council? All right, Mr. Jones, it's all right.
It comes to my attention that there is picks and choose in this building, and far as homes, far as foreclosures. There's been little racism that they do not want to explore with us. They also give us a website that they go on. When we address them that we might want to look at this abandoned building or anything, they tell us that the taxes paid off. The taxes paid off, or you got to wait 4 years and all this to pay their taxes. It's just a lot of ridiculous things that they prevent and hold us back from getting. Now, I've seen this building abandoned for many, 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 many years, and the people that pay taxes on it never decide to put a window in it, a door on it, fix the concrete. 10, 7 years from now, that's hilarious, and it's a lie. And they do not have a place where we go put our foreclosure listing up for the sheriffs when people having hard times and they get foreclosed for bankruptcy and things like. They're supposed to have a listing up there on the wall. They don't have nothing for us. We got to hunt down somebody. And hopefully they show us. They don't have nothing out here for the people. And I think we just need to improve on that. We also need to improve on housing because a lot of these people staying with people or living under bridges where they had to be removed and getting locked up for being trespassing. And we only have one housing for men. And some of them guys do not like other people. And they don't let him in for whatever various reasons. And he can go somewhere else and get the help if a worker don't like him. I mean, we all just people and people make mistakes. But some people have grudges. If they're gonna go up on the prices in Lincoln, at least give us a 30, 90-day notice. And that's all I have to say so far.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Is there anyone else who'd like to address council this evening?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Council Duden, second. Beckius. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Duden.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Schob.
Yes.
Beckius.
Yes.
Carlson.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Washington.
Yes.
Motion carried 7-0.
Council's adjourned.